Welcome, everybody, back to the Game Ball podcast. I am your host, Mark, and today I'm joined by Tom. Jen was not able to make it tonight, but I think she just knew that half of this podcast would be talking about Final Fantasy VII, so she just decided I'll take the week off, boys. You guys can have it. I think nice. I like to think that's what
it was a very nice gesture on her part.
Yes. And so wait for later in the show when we talk about way too much of Final Fantasy VII. But before we get there, Tom, what have you been playing?
So nothing too exciting. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't really get a chance to play a whole lot, but I did continue Ever Crisis, and my God, is the menu system in that game so horrible. It's like gotcha stuff just everywhere. I just want to play the game. I don't give a shit about leveling up weapons to 5 stars and blah, 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 and all this other crap that you can do. I don't care about any of that. I just want to play the game, which itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really not, it's not super different. I haven't gotten to like the special stuff yet with young Sephiroth and all that other stuff. I haven't gotten there yet, but so far it plays like you would think a remake of Final Fantasy VII would play. Underneath all of the other garbage that's happening on the screen. So yeah, so far so good. I'll report back once I am able to get to that other stuff.
But what do you think of the look of the game?
I like the look of the game. I think it's almost like they took the chibi sprites and just made them better. Like they didn't try to make them look realistic. They're more. I like the fact that they're more chibi like the world sprites in original Final Fantasy VII. I think it gives it a little charm, so it's not super realistic like it has to look like the remake. I like that. I like the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I only asked that question because coming from the Legend of Zelda fandom, the look of people seems to be very, very important to some people.
I mean, Zelda's a weird one because, well, as you know, you can end up with stuff like what was the remake that just came out? The Game Boy remake.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. People either loved or hated that, or you have Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, which is a totally different one.
Yeah, and the whole thing with that, not to get off a slight Zelda tangent, was just the idea of people, the fans of that game, and I was on the opposite end of this reaction, but that just wanted to, like, it needed to stay cool. He needed to be cool. He couldn't be a little cartoon character. He had to be a cool
cute.
dude. Yeah, he had to be a cool dude with a shield and sword.
Couldn't be cute, Mark.
yeah. I love Wind Waker, as I said, and we'll get to that later. So they, if I remember correctly, and I'm going to move off Ever Crisis, this is mashing together just Crisis Core and 7, or does it touch on anything else in there?
There will be other characters that are not from either of those games they're going to show up in this. They're original characters.
Okay.
Excuse me. And there will be some pre-Crisis Core stuff happening also.
So that's the BC. That's the before Crisis, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the young Sephiroth stuff that we're going to see. Okay. We'll get to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But so far so good.
So far so good. Have you tried it yet?
I have not.
Okay.
No, I'm too busy playing another game, which I will get to.
When you're just hanging out and you don't feel like turning your console on, it's a pretty good time sink. Like before bed or, on the toilet, like you're supposed to play. You're supposed to play a mobile game.
So you're supposed to play Final Fantasy VII on the toilet. I mean, theoretically, turn-based games are perfect bathroom games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't need much reflexes.
No, not at all.
Anything else?
Yes, I have been playing F-Zero 99.
I have not been able to touch that yet. But...
So we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct a bit later, but I want to get into this now.
Yeah,
because I have thoughts.
Yeah, I have not played it, so my review when we got to that section would have just been, hey, this is okay, But you have played it and seem to have, as you said, thoughts.
Well, I had thoughts before I played the game already. So all I've been asking for I don't know, the past since we started this podcast pretty much is a new F-Zero game. And I heard the music and I was like, "Oh, are we really getting a new F-Zero? I can't believe it. It's happening." And then they tell me that it's a goddamn 99 person battle royale game. And I was like, "Why wouldn't it be? Thanks, Nintendo. You ruined the moment." Like it looks great. It's interesting because they took the Super Nintendo style, not the N64 or the GameCube style.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. But there's one big problem with it. It does not play like this Super Nintendo version at all.
Oh, that's weird.
So the controls are the same, but the handling is not the same. Like if you played F-Zero and then you played this, it would be very difficult to go back and forth. The handling is very floaty, which I guess is the point. They want to make it more difficult so people crash out sooner and you don't have a million people on the track at one time. But it upset me quite a bit because I thought I was like, Nintendo, you're so close. Just I would have taken a new F-Zero game in that style. I would have been fine with that. Give me F-Zero 0, or like a reboot. I don't care.
Yeah,
that would have been fine with that. But they had to make it a battle royale game.
I will say two things about it, just because we'll get to this now. I knew they had to do the Super Nintendo look to it because you're going to do a 99 game. The less intensive graphics, the easier it is to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the obvious reason for that. But I didn't like the tease in the direct of where they just show you the first stage, and then I'm waiting for it to do the Super Mario RPG thing and then explode into a remake.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And it just never happened.
Yeah, it was just that I went to pinpoint that precise moment when it comes down and says Mute City 1. I was like, ah! And then it went 99. I'm like, this might be okay. But yeah, I want to get my hands on it and play it. Just to see, because I played all the other 99s and all that. Jumped out of Tetris quickly because I found out I'm not very good at Tetris. And just see where it goes. But yeah, I just wish, and we'll get to this later about other series, is that it feels like Nintendo just half listens to what the fans say.
It does seem like that to me, Mark.
Oh, they're mentioning F-Zero. They want it as this. No, that's not. No.
It was so close. Like I said, Nintendo was this close to making it making what we wanted, and then they just screwed it. But I played the game. It is incredibly hectic. Like, I know battle royales are supposed to be hectic, but there's 99 people on a normal-sized F-Zero track, and you only get 4 laps, just like a regular race.
Yeah, and you take damage by hitting the cars.
Yes, you will take damage by getting hit or hitting other cars. There's back markers that you can still hit, so there's more than 99 cars on the track at once.
Oh, Jesus.
And then there are also like giant gold back marker cars that if you run into them, they give you like power up, like a bonus bar, and that if you fill that bar, it gives you like a super boost, and it like raises you up a level above the track. Yeah. Which that's cool. That's a good idea when you have a million cars on the track and you need to figure out a way to get people off the track.
Yeah, and it rewards players who play the game as they want it played and not just race.
Right, because I just raced and I got my ass whooped. I think I finished 40th or something. I just was trying to just race and not battle people, and I got smoked by everybody. It was a little annoying because I was like, all right, well, what if I just want to like race? I guess I got to play F-Zero. I can't play this.
Yeah.
Because it was just not, I mean, I didn't come close to winning. I'm sure there's all kinds of strategies already out there for this.
Yeah.
For this style of game. And I just don't have, I only did a few races, but it's tough. It's not an easy win by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it feels like something that maybe we've grown out of, the
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that very well may be the case because I don't know. It's just so hectic, and I just want to play a game.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to like reinvent the wheel here to play an F-Zero game. But like I said, they were so close, and they just said Battle Royale. And as soon as I saw 99, I was like, oh man, really? That's what we're doing, Nintendo? That's the best you got?
Yeah, but at least they're doing stuff for the online service, because it sometimes feels like they forget they have it.
That's for sure.
All right. Do you have anything else before?
No, that's pretty much it. I was let down again.
So I'll start off mine with a non-gaming related big time scare I had. I ordered a NVMe drive, right? I got those letters in the correct order.
That was correct.
SSD. After confirming with Tom that my motherboard had the slot. And for those of you that have put together computers or know the components, in order to get to my NVMe slot, I needed to move my GPU out, put the SSD in, put the GPU back in. So I did all that, got it done, and my computer had a couple updates, and then it just started acting weird. In that the the graphics card thing I had kept saying it needed an update. I kept updating and kept saying it still needed the update. Then Windows kept having that little dot notification in the power button thing, and I kept restarting the computer, and that would never go away, and it would never update. And then after like a bunch of reboots, then all of a sudden it couldn't read my GPU, and I thought I had broken my GPU. And literally it could, like, the way I thought, where I don't know enough about GPUs to know it was still displaying a photo, displaying a picture, but it was in like 480 or some weird thing. So part of me was like, I don't think I've completely broke it. I just don't know what's going on here. So I moved it around. I switched it from one thing to the other, because there's 2 GPU slots. So I went to the other one. After a little bit, still didn't work. And then finally, I was about to do just a Windows wipe clean, new install Windows, because this whole update thing was freaking me out. Went to try and do that. I downloaded Windows, have it on a USB, all ready to go. Started it out. It wouldn't let me wipe Windows. It said, hey, it failed. Oh, well. I'm like, what? And then finally it came up with the option. It's like, do you want to do a system restore instead? I'm like, sure. And thankfully, the most recent one was like Thursday, so I just had to download a couple updates for games. So I did the system restore, and everything just magically worked again. So I don't know if the update for Windows was borked or the graphics card update messed it up, or I did something.
I still can't explain this. I don't know how it happened.
No idea.
Yeah.
Then I realized with the SSD I had to do all these extra steps that I didn't know I had to do to be able for it to properly use the SSD. Because it wasn't. Maybe it was all part of the problem, and I didn't have to do some of that stuff. Because it wasn't reading the SSD. Like, it said it was there, but it wasn't giving it a letter.
Yeah, you would have had to initialize it.
Yeah, so I did all that, but then when I did the system restore, it read it and gave it the letter D after I gave it M before. So I don't know what happened. It's working. That's all I care about right now. But yeah, I was looking up prices for GPUs and getting ready to go to Micro Center in the morning, because this was like at 1:30 in the morning. This was taking place. So that was my one scare. So needless to say, I have not been able to play the one game that I've been wanting to play on computer that I've just been playing on console, which is Starfield. I tried to play Starfield on the PC through a hard disk drive, loading from that, and that way too long of load times. It was not working. So I've not been able to try it since the scare. But I have been playing an awful lot of that game, Tom. I am currently at I think it's 37 hours.
Wow.
Because it reads it in days, hours, minutes. And
Okay.
I don't know why it doesn't do just straight hours, but I think it said like 1 day, 13 hours and something minutes. And I have barely done the main quest. I think I've done like 4 of the main quest things. I have started the initial thing of one of the factions, and I am a 3-star ranger. That's not spoilers because basically when you find them, they tell you can do it. And plus, if you haven't played a Bethesda Fallout game before, you can do things. You can join organizations. So I've done that. That took a long time. I went and did a special mission that got me a ship, and then I got a better ship for doing something else, and it made that 45-minute to an hour and a half quest that I was not the right level for completely useless. So, and then I kitted out that thing to give it much more storage, and then the next ship I got had double the storage.
Of course.
So it was just stuff like that.
I'm really
exactly. I'm really, really enjoying the game. I think I said on last week's podcast that I just started playing it, or last episode, that this game is very much, if you like Bethesda games, if you like Fallout, if you like not Skyrim so much, because Skyrim's its own animal. This is essentially Fallout in space, in the way it's structured. You know, like I said, there's factions, there's side quests, there's funny characters, there's fun decisions you can make. You get emotionally invested in some of the decisions. The weapon system, there's only a handful of, I think, types of guns, and then they're all just modded off of that. So you tend to get your guns that you like in the beginning and just stick with that forever. I've been using just basically this laser gun and then this and then a regular bullets gun. The upgrade tree is ridiculous and mind-blowing because there's way too much going on.
I agree. There's way too much going on.
I'm level 21, 22, 21 or 22. I finally paid off my house, so I have my dream house that I started decorating.
Mm-hmm.
I have my first outpost on the moon, or Luna, as it is called in this game.
Is it Earth's moon?
Earth's moon, yes.
Okay.
Yes, but they call it Luna because you can't call it moon.
Right, because there's a million moons.
Yeah. So I have it there because I needed iron, and Luna has iron, so I built an outpost on there. Now I just need to find a planet with a lot of aluminum and build a second outpost. So I'm enjoying doing that. The main quest hasn't grabbed me yet. All the side stuff has seemed more fun right now. So I don't know if I'm just not enough into it to get it, but I'm really liking it. Like I said, I'm leaning on the side where I'm like a 8.5, 9 out of 10 because I've played these games before and I didn't think it was more than it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And yeah, I am enjoying it. I made my character look like Haley Williams from Paramore.
Of course.
And then I named my most recent ship The Misery Business. Because I am a 3-star ranger, which is basically just the bounty hunters, cops, I guess, of that section of the world. And I'm just going out and taking out pirates. So I'm giving them the misery business.
Perfect.
I'm a nerd.
It's a perfect match, Mark.
So yeah, it is. The best part is by having a last name that the game recognizes. The robot calls me Captain Williams throughout it. I found my first true Bethesda bug. I rescued these 2 guys in a quest, and I was supposed to drop them off. I went to the planet to drop them off, got the quest marker for dropping them off, saying, hey, here's your XP, here's your money, dropped off. Those 2 guys are still on my ship.
Oh, that's good.
I keep going back to the planet. They do not leave my ship. So I'm like, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there.
Now, do they show up on your ship's inventory?
No, they're just there.
Just there.
And they're in the same spot. Like they don't move. I haven't actually looked for them since I switched ships about 30 minutes before we got on here.
I'd be interested to see if they're still there.
Yeah, because I switched ships. But yeah, so the shipbuilding's amazing. One of the fun things that I found by watching videos is that apparently somebody found out that the AI, and I hope to God they don't patch this out, the ship AI only shoots to the center of your sprite, your ship. So people were building ships without the middle, and just like they were like perimeter, like a square without a middle in it, and the ships were ships were invulnerable
because it had no point to hit.
Yeah, they were shooting in the middle of what would be the middle of the square, but since there was nothing in the middle, the stuff was just going through it.
That's great.
So
that's typical Bethesda jank.
I hope they don't take that out.
They're 100% gonna patch that. There's no way they don't.
So good. But I'm having fun playing an awful lot of it, and probably gonna play more after we get off here. The other games I've been playing, my need a break from Starfield game is for some reason been playing a lot of NHL 23. Not sure why. I pick up a sports game and just run with it for a while, whether it's FIFA, Madden, or NHL. And it's NHL's turn this week. So I've been playing that. That game's pretty decent. There's a lot of promises for 24 coming up where they say the crowd is supposed to be, more of a thing. They use special words for it. They're trying to be like the FIFA crowds, which are pretty good. So we'll see if that works. But yeah, having fun with that. And then the other two things I'm playing, I love that we're going to both talk about a phone game without Jen here. I have been playing way too much Monopoly Go.
Oh my God.
My phone.
I'm glad I had to delete that off my phone.
Yes, I am. I'm almost level 500.
Mark, you need to get rid of that.
It's a great work game. When the emails stop flowing for a few hours, I have not paid a dime to that game yet. And it hasn't even tempted me. It's like, hey, do you want to pay like $5 and get this thing? I'm like, no, I'll just wait till tomorrow and I'll have half of those dice rolls already. But yeah, my niece invited me to it because she's trying to get the free things for inviting, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do it to get her the free things, and then I got hooked. So I've been playing way too much of that, and I believe I am 2/3 of the way through Goodbye Volcano High. I am really enjoying it. If you've been watching our streams on it, my goal would be, I hope to stream tomorrow and finish it, because I think I only have about 2 hours left of it, roughly. I feel that after the Battle of the Bands is going to be the end of the game. So
it seems like it's building towards that.
Yeah, so we're almost there. So we'll see what happens. So just getting that, and then just basically playing Starfield until November 17th, I believe, is the date for when my next obsession comes out. But yeah, just gonna keep you updated on the trials and tribulations of Haley Williams, who is kind of a cop, a little bit. I'm a little bit of a cop.
Is she kind of a bastard?
No, I mean I've killed people, but I usually try to diffuse the situation beforehand. Only because it gets my persuade number up, and I can improve my persuade skill.
Anytime I can get a number to go up, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I had one thing where it was like basically all the choices were just basically going to end in an attack, and I went, all right, I guess we're attacking this. And then one was a surprise attack. Like, we got this whole conversation, I won, and I got, the thing I needed off of him, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's like, I want to go out my way. And then he just started shooting at me, and I'm like, oh, Chris, what? He like almost killed me, like immediately out of the cutscene. So I'll keep you updated on that. But Tom, before we get into the two big things that happened this week with the Nintendo Direct and the Sony State of Play, which will be our topic for today's podcast, let's just do a quick recap of some news. First off, we'll start off with the Unity situation.
What a shit show that is.
Yeah, I would recommend, because I'm not going to do it any justice, trying to bore you by rehashing it. I would go read a couple stories about it. I know Jason Schreier had some good ones up on it. Always a good source to go to for that. But essentially, what I got was they were going to try and charge studios per download of their game if it had Unity. Which,
what a piece of shit move that is.
Yeah, and they kept trying to play it off, and they just made it. And I think they eventually walked it all the way back.
I know they walked it part of the way back. I didn't see if they walked it all the way back.
I think it's pretty close to all the way back. But the thing that they didn't think about, essentially, and I just want to get in our opinions and thoughts on this. Then the nuts and bolts, you can read the stories. But the one thing they didn't think about with this is, if you're charging the studios, what happens if there's like malicious downloads? Like instead of review bombing, people install and uninstall, install, uninstall to, like, just put a bot to do it constantly to cost the company they hate money.
They would actually think that far ahead?
No, because they would get the money. They didn't care.
Right.
It's just, oh man. And I love how quickly all this backpedaling happened when all the studios and stuff was like going, I guess we
won't be using Unity anymore.
I guess we got to look for a new engine. And then Unreal with its, like, I wish I could say, like, little bit of a, like, wink, not to people, about using Unreal Engine 5 for things. So good. But yeah, it just shows another thing where you put a bunch of these decisions get made by a bunch of people in a room that have probably never done the thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're just looking at numbers on a sheet.
Well, yeah, they're not looking at it. They're just looking at the dollar signs going up or the dollar signs going down. They're not They're not paying any attention to the people that are, or the, like, what this would do to people that use your stuff.
Yeah, and it's not even like in the sense that I don't even think they realize that people would uninstall and reinstall games. Their thing was like, oh, they install it once and they play it. And then, because these people probably don't do much gaming. So it was such a mess. It was a dark, funny follow how everybody was united in shitting on Unity. Like, big companies, small companies.
They were a very easy target for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was not much going for them when they put this out. I think like Microsoft even was like hinting that they would pay the companies whatever the charge was each month, like if they were on Game Pass. And then that's when Unity back that, Game Pass and Humble Bundle and something else was the first thing they made an exception for. Well, what's that's where they went wrong. If they're going to do that, they got to go all out. They can't walk it back for just a couple of things, because as soon as you do that, you got to walk it back for everything. Yeah. It sounds like that's what happened. Yeah. But,
so apparently I think the last thing I saw, now I could be wrong by the time the podcast comes out, is it might be just for the new version of Unity. They may let the legacy people not be affected by this, which I guess is a good compromise. Question mark. But yeah. So Unity had a terrible week, but one company that is not having a terrible week, Tom, and probably the end of our long ongoing discussion of the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
I can't believe it's coming to an end, Mark.
Yes, and don't believe it looks like, there's still one tiny hurdle, but the FTC has zero case because their people didn't understand video games, and the judge
people not understanding video games, ruining everything for everybody else.
I love that judge was essentially going, but she's like, I've never played these things, but what you just told me makes no sense to the FTC with all their arguments. But anyway, so if you didn't hear, the UK regulator, CMA, I believe, the Competition and Markets Authority, finally approved the sale because of the cloud gaming rights thing, which they, for some reason, hold up with because Microsoft's going to make Ubisoft basically, like, if they want to use a game in the cloud that's an Activision game, they have to pay Ubisoft a licensing fee to do that, and that's sort of got the okay of the CMA. That's about what I understood with it. It's just the sheer, like, all I'm saying is Call of Duty on Game Pass went this year. That's all I'm looking forward to. But
me too. I'd be happy to get back into it without having to pay for it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I do love the sizzle reel that plays before my streams now of when we win in the Battle Royale thing.
Oh, what the hell was that mode called?
Cash or whatever.
Plunder.
Yeah, Plunder. And you go, yeah, first place, we won. I never have to play Call of Duty again. It's the end of that clip.
I don't think I've touched it since. I don't think I've touched it since we stopped playing.
It's one of the two clips that makes me laugh every time. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. And I'll say it again for the last time, because we'll just do a quick mention when it officially goes through, probably sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because they have until October 18th, I believe, for it to officially go through. Microsoft just wants King.
We know.
They just want Candy Crush. All this other stuff is stupid and was just Sony trying to fuck them over.
It was just Sony being jerks about it because they knew that they didn't have anything to compete with it. They already don't have anything to compete with Game Pass, which is really what this stemmed from, is that all this stuff is going to be day one on Game Pass and nobody's going to buy it on a Sony system ever.
Yeah, if they have both. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that in the sense that, yes, antitrust and all that stuff is very important, but from Microsoft's side, whatever Sony or UK brought up, they were like, fine, here, we'll do this, because the gaming side is not what they care about. Right. So it was a fool's errand the whole time for Sony, or Nvidia or whoever else was pushing back early on. It was like Microsoft was going to cave to everything because they just want Candy Crush.
Yep. They don't give a shit about the other stuff.
Yeah. So bravo to them. Maybe Bobby Kotick can finally go the fuck away. And
I hope so. I don't want to see his stupid face anymore.
Yeah, and we can get on with our lives there. Speaking of Ubisoft, they did something very old school this week. For those of you that haven't really followed video game news in the age of social media and streaming and directs and state of plays and whatever the Xbox Gaming Showcase, I think is their thing, is called.
Yeah.
In the era of that, no, you have not been witness to a game just being announced out of nowhere, in the sense that Ubisoft announced The Division 3 in a press release.
Literally out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Like, just say, yeah, so we're doing it with Massive. Here you go. in a
no trailer, nothing.
Yeah, and the best part about it, the release had nothing to do with like the Division game. It was somebody attached to the game was coming back to Ubisoft and the Division, and then they were just, oh yeah, she's coming back because the Division 3 is coming out. It's
oh yeah, by the way, the Division 3 is coming.
Yep. It's such an old school thing. Like, oh, this director's coming in. They're going to work on this game. And they're like, wait, that's the first time we've heard you're working on this game. What?
Wait, you're working on what?
Which, by the way, also is good news for you Star Wars Outlaws fans out there, because Julian, I think it's Girardi, was the creative director for that game. So the fact that they're moving to, I think I said she in the beginning. It is labeled as he in this story. Moving to Division from Star Wars Outlaws pretty much means that part of the production is done. So probably not going to go back for rewrites and things like that. So Star Wars Outlaws coming out, but yeah, it was so reminiscent of, and we're old enough for this, Tom, where things would be announced in like shareholder calls. You would find out.
Then they get leaked.
Yeah,
that's where leaks came from, is shareholder calls, because
be like, hey, so in Q3 we're allocating $20 million for the marketing of the Super Mario Brothers Sunshine. That's what.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, so this is very old school stuff, and it made me laugh when it happened. And someone actually printed literally one sentence on it, and it was great. So for those of you who like The Division, which I actually really do like The Division, I just never finished either one, because after a while, if you're not playing as a group, or you don't play it from the very beginning, it's kind of hard to do it single player. But the concept of the game is a really good one, and I do like the idea of like a post-apocalyptic or post, downfall of something where like it's a familiar map that looks unfamiliar. I like those kind of concepts. So I'm wondering what city they're going to go to next for this. I don't know if they announced any of that, but there are multiple, like, you could see how it is in other countries, maybe. Maybe it happens in London or something, But, yeah, so that was an interesting thing this week. And then, speaking of leaks, Tom, I don't know how I made all these transitions fit perfectly together. I did not have these stories lined up this way.
You're just that good, Mark.
You're just that good. I'm just on a roll tonight. So the massive Xbox leak, which was leaked by Xbox, uploading all the documents to the FTC case. They accidentally uploaded things that were supposed to be redacted or not in there at all. So we found out some really fun details on it. So we'll go quickly through this. Obviously, the big one is that, and the one that's like basically, I hate this term, but it fits here. It was basically the nothing burger of it, is that Microsoft considered buying Nintendo. I'm like, of course they considered buying Nintendo.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was they want to buy Nintendo. Like Phil Spencer wants to buy Nintendo. Sure, he does. Yeah. I want to buy Nintendo too. Yeah. Who doesn't? Like, it was just so stupid. Like, people freaked out about that. I'm like, well, I mean, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to buy Nintendo? You'd get their whole catalog and make it your own. So I don't know. I don't know why people like that's people's dream is to buy a company like Nintendo.
Yeah, and it probably could very much have been in an email or some kind of memo or something, just going, hey, why don't we try buying, Nintendo? They needed Microsoft to get their Xbox to get into the Japanese market. Nintendo's a great way to do that. The other options are like Sega and Capcom, but, as Microsoft has proved, they're go big or go home on some things. So, of course, that was the idea in the leaked email. That was just like, yeah.
It was kind of a terribly kept secret. I think that we all kind of knew that they wanted to buy Nintendo. It wasn't like they were keeping it away from us by saying something like that. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. The whole thing was weird.
Yeah, and the one that raised my eyebrows a little bit was Bethesda working on an Oblivion remaster. Just shows me that the Elder Scrolls 6 is further away than we think.
It's never coming, Mark. Let's be honest. It's not anytime soon.
That they're going to fill in with a remaster there. Some interesting business stuff like the AAA thing. That 3/4 of Xbox gamers have a Series S, not X.
Well, that's because you couldn't buy a Series X.
Yeah. And then the 2 game-related things on there was, they were expecting Red Dead Redemption 2 to get a refresh on next gen. Never happened.
That's not their fault.
No, but yeah. But that was one of the interesting things that they sort of thought they had that assurance from, either the creators or, one of the housers, who knows, said it, and they thought that, and that the Microsoft drastically underestimated Baldur's Gate 3. They just thought it was going to be like as the thing said, a second-run Stadia PC RPG. And that just shows that Microsoft does not know RPGs at all.
No, they don't. We all know that. There's a reason that they don't have RPGs on their system.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. So yeah, the most interesting thing that came out about it was I want to know where that employee that uploaded those documents is working today, because he's obviously not working for Microsoft today.
Unless that was his job to leak that. Yeah.
Just Unity went, thank you, Microsoft. But they still stayed in the news. But interesting stuff. And then in the middle of all this, as we move on to our topic, Tom, there were 2 big. I don't know if they're big, but it's sort of like around the time of TGS. I don't think we were expecting, something to come out from a that wasn't directly from TGS, but I guess they're sort of treating that like an E3 now, Square and Nintendo, where they'll put out their directs, and well, Sony did the State of Play, but Square did its big thing, as we'll talk about. But we had a Nintendo Direct and a Sony State of Play, both within the same week.
Same day, Mark.
Same day? I thought it was a day apart or so.
Pretty sure the same day.
So
I think one was in the morning and one was at night.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it was tied to TGS. But yeah, so we'll start off with Nintendo because that was, in my opinion, probably the lighter of the two. In terms of that didn't have any big updates or announcements to it. We already talked about F-Zero 99, and then the other thing that I'm looking very much forward to, that Princess Peach game looks really good.
It does. It looks incredibly good. I was surprised at how good that game looked, but
I loved it.
Little faith for that game. I was worried about it.
I love that it has a different feel than a Mario game.
Right, it didn't feel like a Mario game for sure.
And I love the leaning into Princess Peach in terms of having her be her own character, and not, they've been doing it, over the years, in like the sports games and Smash and all that stuff. But it's nice to see it going, Nintendo finally going, there might be girl gamers that might want to play as the princess.
All right, there's girls that like Princess Peach that want to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or they just see the numbers, if they can get numbers like that, of how many people play as Peach in the 4-player games, and going, maybe somebody would want to play as this. But Princess Peach Showtime. It's basically it's coming out in March. Essentially, the game is she's inside some kind of carnival, or sometimes she gets in all these different costumes and stuff. And it seems like a really fun, quirky game. And one of the big surprises, which when I saw it, I was like, okay, was the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remasters coming to Switch.
It's very weird. Like, where's this been?
Yeah.
This is and it's not like it's not a remake. They're literally the same game with different assets, like up-res assets.
Yeah, it's like the Halo thing where you can press a button to go back and forth. Yeah,
exactly. It's the same source code, same everything. They just said, "Oh yeah, now you can." Now it looks nice. I think that's a first, because it's the like PS1 era they have not aged well. So this might be interesting for other companies to go, "Oh hey, we have this game from that era. We can do the same thing." So I wonder if we might start seeing more up-reses like this as opposed to full-blown remakes.
Yeah, it was just it's one of those things that just, like, to me, it was like, why Tomb Raider? That was basically my thought.
They haven't released a Tomb Raider in a while, so they had to do something.
Yeah. So, and speaking of HD remasters, Luigi's Mansion 2, which is a freaking good idea.
I can't believe that never got remade. I was thinking to myself, so I was like, they only left that on the 3DS? That seems weird to me. But they never put it on anything else except until now.
So Prince of Persia still looks sick as fuck. I really want to play that game. And let's do a little bit of a dive into Super Mario RPG. Not too much, because we both played through the game, so there wasn't much news showing here. I want to talk about that percentage meter for if you do perfect blocks and perfect attacks. I think it's a great idea. I'm interested to see what the strategies would be for who's the best 3 to have out there when that's 100%. But yeah, what are your thoughts on some of the new combat things they showed?
I'm all for the new stuff. That's the whole point of a remake, is you need to it's going to have a little bit of newer things. I know people would I'm guessing that you could probably turn that stuff off. I don't know that for sure, but I don't know that it's necessary. Like, I don't know that you need to use it, I guess. You could probably get the same experience not using it. But I like it. I like the fact that it's there. I like the fact that you could, have a new thing to learn in Mario RPG, and it'll probably make the game a little easier.
Yeah.
Even though the game is easy as it is, but I'm old and I don't have that much time to play games, so something that makes it easier for me,
yeah,
I'm all for it.
The Super Marios and the Paper Marios, which we'll get to, are supposed to be baby's first RPGs. Essentially, is how I think I've described them a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And adding this thing seems to be keeping that going forward. I like the ideas of being able to rebattle the bosses. I don't know what the point of it'll be in the game, or what the thing, but I like the idea of making them harder and harder, and just for people that want a challenge in it. And for those of us that have played the game way too much, I don't know how much, just the shot of him knocking on the door and saying the stone starts to shimmer or something like that got me way too excited. Because that means they are going to try to have, I forget the name of it because my brain's just not working tonight. I couldn't remember Rockstar in the last segment, guys. So, the Final Fantasy ass-looking boss that's in the original, and I think they're going to do it again. And I can't wait to see how epic that thing is going to be, especially with the changes they're making to the look of the game itself. But I as a split second, and I'm probably one of, I would say, 20% of people watching that got that and got excited. But is there anything else you saw in that trailer?
There was nothing really that jumped out to me, but I'm excited for it. I'm ready to play some Super Mario RPG.
And then finishing out real quick before the big thing. So Trombone Champ is coming to Nintendo Switch. Seems like a perfect match. Dave the Diver, indie game of the year, it seems like. And then I think the other game that I'm looking forward to, and probably just maybe not ending up in Extra Life, is the WarioWare Move It, where you have to do poses. And one of them is pecking like a chicken, where you have to pull one Joy-Con on your nose, one Joy-Con down near your butt, and you got to peck like a chicken.
It's going to be an interesting Extra Life, folks.
It's going to be fun. Because WarioWare is chaotic as it is, and they're introducing this stupid shit, and it's going to be amazing. And that comes out on November 23rd. Or November 3rd, I'm sorry. So it will be right in time for that. And last but not least, and when I heard them say we have one more thing, and sort of alluding to a remaster or remake, I got excited. And then
they did it to you too, Mark. They did it to you too.
Paper Mario 1000-Yard Door pops up, which I am excited about. It's my favorite Paper Mario, and I'm not taking away from that, but I am Nintendo. Where the fuck is my Wind Waker on Switch? Like, seriously, you got to get that game off Wii U. It's
never coming.
It's the only game that was popular on Wii U that did not get a port to Switch. They're
waiting for the Switch too, Mark.
Anyway, Paper Mario 1000-Yard Door, probably, in my opinion, the best Paper Mario game.
Oh, easily. It's not even close.
If you have not played it before, go buy this game when it comes out. It'll be out sometime next year. I'm assuming it's going to be around E3 time, like Q4 probably.
I keep looking for the pre-order.
Yeah,
I keep trying to find when it's coming, but
it's same. Yeah. So Nintendo, it's about 40 minutes. Most of it was good. Like I said, it's just a lot of stuff that we kind of knew about. And the new things got revealed were slightly disappointing to Tom with the F-Zero 99, and me not seeing any Wind Waker. But moving on to one that maybe wasn't as deep on new stuff in it, but the things they did show was just spectacular. We'll do real quick on the Sony State of Play. Spider-Man 2 looks amazing, and I don't know how they're doing what they're doing with it. And I laughed at the one thing where they were like, you can instantly switch from, Peter to Miles. And I'm like, oh, you mean the thing GTA 5 did on the Xbox 360? Like, that might not be the thing to lead with, because that has been done before. Now, if you say you can do it while they're on screen together or something crazy like that, where you don't need a loading screen, then bring that up. But don't announce it like that, because GTA 5 did it roughly 10, 11 years ago. But still looks amazing. Probably not going to play that till next year, because of everything else coming out.
It's a shame that is going to get pushed. I still haven't finished Miles Morales.
Same. And, so,
I would like to finish that before I play the new game.
It's a shame that my Game of the Year sequel is getting pushed to the back end for me. And then the 2 Resident Evil 4 stuff got announced. They finally announced the Separate Ways DLC. For those of you who don't know, that's the Ada Wong story during Resident Evil 4. Looks like there's a lot of new things. Looks like they're doing something different with her character, at least from the last shot of the trailer. So very interested in that. The VR mode looks fucking nuts. I don't know who will play that game in VR. And that says something coming from me, more so than Tom. So the other weird thing that got announced was being able to finally buy official faceplate changes for your PS5. If you don't want it to be white, you can, like, I guess, have it changed with like a mood ring color. I don't know. But finally officially doing that after people have been doing it on the third market since it came out. Baby Steps looks like a fun streaming game that I'll probably watch a ton of people play, but not play.
That looks like a fun Extra Life game.
Yeah.
To try to figure out how the hell to play this stupid game.
Yeah. That looks like, one of those things. So that'll be Extra Life 2024. The funniest part about this next announcement with Roblox coming is that they specifically said it's coming to the PS4, which I get because younger kids may not have PS5s, but like they said that like that wasn't weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying they should have had like maybe a caveat going, hey, so Roblox, popular game on the computer coming to the PS4 where, a lot of our younger gamers play or whatever, something, without it like everybody going, yeah, but I can still play it on my PS5. You didn't have to say specifically PS4. But yeah, that I don't get Roblox, and it's my age. I'm not saying it's bad.
It's definitely not. It's not. We're not the target audience for sure.
My niece is absolutely obsessed with it, and I feel so bad because she tries to talk to me about it, and I can't reach the level of excitement she has for it.
It's so weird to me. Like everything is in Roblox.
Yeah,
and I don't know how it works. I don't know how you could possibly have everything. Like there's first-person shooters. There's Five Nights at Freddy's. There's everything. You can build it and play it in Roblox, and it just makes no sense in my brain.
Yeah, and for those of you that own a PSVR 2, the Ghostbusters game is coming for that Rise of the Ghost Lord. So it gives you something to actually play on that thing. Apparently, Foam Stars is still a thing. The open beta is coming for that if you're interested in checking that out. A thing that I'm only excited about on this podcast, Tales of Arise is getting an expansion.
Yes,
in November. I am pumped. I am a huge Tales fan. So that was a surprise. I'm like, are they? I was sitting there going, I was doing the same thing as a couple people I was watching, going, is this Tales of Arise 2? Are they doing a 2? Like, how do you do a 2? As somebody to beat the game, like, so it'll be interesting to see how they do the story there. There's a little gap. There's a little space that they can do an additional story after the end of that game. So interested to see that. But we buried the lead because it's the thing we're going to talk about the most here. They gave the best trailer that I've ever seen for a video game for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I was literally screeching and gasping and giggling throughout the entire thing, because for those of us that played the game, as I've seen many streamers and creators react to it, going, they're showing too much. They're showing everything.
They're giving us everything we asked for.
Yeah, they're just everything. So I'll start with my initial thoughts, and then if those of you listening can hear, I need to go get some water for my voice. I'll let Tom give his thoughts second, but my quick thoughts on this is they've had to have been developing this game side by side with 7 Remake. Like
I can almost guarantee you that they've been doing this at least since 2018 or 2019. Because there's no way they haven't.
The scale of this game is insane. And just the things they're giving you, and the fact that this is barely going to get to disc 2 from where I hear they're ending it. And I don't know what 3 is going to be.
I don't.
But
I have a feeling the end of this game is where it's going to divulge from.
It has to. It has to.
It's going to be a big divulsion, and you're not going to. I don't know that you'll get all of disc 3 in the 3rd game, whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah. It's going to be Reunion because they already hinted it here.
They can't call it Reunion. They called it Crisis Core Reunion.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna have to call it Revengeance or something, or
Revengeance or whatever. Yeah, let's get some Metal Gear naming in there. All right, so I'm gonna hand it over to Tom for a quick 2-minute brief thoughts on the game without going too deep, because I want to go deep conversation with you when I come back. I gotta get some water before I can no longer speak. So take it away, Tom.
So quick overall, wow was really all I can say about this when I first saw it. Just the scale of everything, the scale of everything when they zoom out to the map, the fact that you're going to be able to explore all that, the fact that you're going to be able to explore everything, it seems like. I just can't believe that they're giving us that much to do in this game, which is, I guess, why it's on 2 discs. Which is they still keep posting that on 2 discs. We haven't had that since like the PlayStation 1. When it was on 3 discs, like, oh, it's on 3 discs, it must be huge, which this game must be huge, because I can't imagine a game taking up 2 Blu-rays to make this game. But the fact that there's chocobos, incredible. The fact that you can go anywhere on these chocobos, incredible. Vincent, incredible. I don't like that you can't play as him, but that it is what it is. You'll get to play as him at some point. I can't wait to get to Junin. I can't wait to get to the Gold Saucer. These are all places that I've wanted to go since the original was created and put out, and I'm gonna be able to do that in this game. It's mind blowing. They showed everything they showed. I couldn't get enough of. I wanted more. Just keep showing me more. But they had to cut it off at some point.
Yeah. So with the Gold Saucer, it's just. I'm more interested. I got excited by the stuff they showed. Obviously, with the mini games all being in there, and I'm assuming there's going to be chocobo breeding in it. But
I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be chocobo breeding, or if it's going to be like it's either going to be like Breath of the Wild or possibly Horizon, where you would have to capture these special chocobo or do certain quests to get them.
I
don't know that they'll go full in depth with breeding, because breeding itself in 7 took forever. So I don't know if they're gonna go full balls to the wall. You're gonna breed chocobos. It's gonna take you 10 hours to breed a chocobo to get what you need, or if they're gonna make it quests. I'd be okay. I would be okay if it was quests.
Yes, as an older person, though.
Right. As we've stated, as a person who has limited time to play these games, I would be okay with that. I'm sure people would be pissed, because that's just the way it goes. You can't. You're not going to make everybody happy. But the fact that they showed a black chocobo and a blue chocobo doing the things that they are supposed to do, I about jumped out of my chair when I saw that.
Yeah, and just finishing up on the Gold Saucer, the story implications is what's got me excited, because of the whole. They introduced that Jesse was supposed to be a singer at the Gold Saucer, so the split timeline thing. And I think I have to rewatch the trail or the coverage of the people playing, but I believe on the wanted posters that they have in the demo, I think Jesse and Biggs are on it.
Yes. Yeah.
So it'd be real interesting to see if they tap into that little thing that you could have completely missed in Remake about her being in singing at the Gold Saucer and coming home because of her dad. I think the thing that impressed me most with the trailer is they walked the fine line that's really hard in games like this, where they're giving us enough to get excited about because we know what's going to happen or think we know what's going to happen. So give us enough to get our arrogance up, get our excitement up for things that could happen, but also leave enough of it vague that people that have no idea what happened in the original game will be, completely not spoiled on anything. I don't think, unless if you know the story, you won't be able to put the pieces together like some of us can put them together. And they're even changing the name of where the final part of this game takes place, because I believe they're calling it capital instead of city.
I think that's a localization thing more than anything.
Okay.
I don't think it's. I mean, it could be. It very well could be, but I think it's a localization thing more than anything. I could be wrong. But yeah, you're right. They're calling things different things, so it could have some implications that it's not the same place, or something like that.
And then two things from all the stuff that came out after the trailer. One of the directors, I don't know if it was Nomura or the actual director, said that it's going to be 100 hours of gameplay. And
put it in my veins, Mark.
I was like, I got both excited and dreaded a little bit, going, I'm going to lose like weekends to this, just like Persona 5.
I'm going to lose everything to this, Mark. I'm going to lose every waking hour that I'm not watching a child. I'm going to lose to this game.
I'm hoping that the actual main story is somewhere around 75 for the size they're showing. And the 100 is if you do a lot of extra stuff. I don't want it to be like Persona 5, where that game was legitimately 110 hours. Like you could have cut out some of the side stuff and kept it to like 100. But if you did the side stuff that you needed to make the rest of the game bearable and easy, it was 110 flat. And I'm hoping that's not where this is. Because as much as I love that game and this game, I don't know, unless if they do a lot of crazy shit like 3/4 of the way through, I don't know if a game where you're not making choices like you do in Persona has the staying power for people to stay with it for 110 hours. I'm saying not us. We will, 100%. Yep. But I'm talking about most people. I think that's why the Personas can get away with it, because of the whole relationship system.
Well, Mark, there will be a relationship system here. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to work yet, but there will most likely be a relationship system in this game.
I art thou, thou art I. That's a Persona reference for all of you. Yeah. So super excited about everything in this game. I can't wait to get into next time I see you in person to just geek about all the spoiler stuff that is in it.
Oh yeah,
because I don't really want to mention it here. But
yeah, there's stuff we can talk about, but there's definitely stuff that we'd probably want to avoid.
Yeah,
and just the Junin stuff to me is so cool, and I can't. So,
did you hear the change to that minigame?
What I don't see, that's the thing. I don't know. As soon as I saw Cloud walking in front of all of those soldiers, I got an immediate anxiety attack.
So the change to it is, if you remember from the original game, I guess kind of spoilers, but you march as one of the soldiers. Right. Apparently in this one, you are leading the soldiers, and you get to pick the makeup of the soldiers behind you, and depending on what you choose, has a different reward or outcome or success rate or something.
So I'll be quick saving before this, just like I did in the original game, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So, that's kind of cool way to. I hope they switch some of the stuff up like that, like just a little tweak on it. And the 2-story things I'm interested in. I want to know who that figure in the cloak is. We have theories. I'll talk about it with Tom off podcast. But
yes,
I'm interested.
There are lots of theories. I like one of them.
Yeah,
more than others.
And I love the fact that Cafferty has an Irish accent.
Now, we're also going to determine if his name is in fact Cafferty or Kate Sith.
I just love the fact that if they're going to lean into that actual pronunciation, that they made him Irish.
He's been Scottish.
Or Scottish or whatever. Yeah.
If you've played not Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah.
He has that accent in that game also.
So that is ignorance on my part, as I did not play Dirge of Cerberus.
And I think in Advent Children, I think he's got that accent also.
God, I haven't seen Advent Children in 20 years.
You got so if you haven't seen, there's a director's cut. You need to see the director's cut. It's worth investing.
Game Vault watch along.
Hey, I'd be down for that. Don't tempt me with a good time, Mark.
Yeah. We'll put it closer to the release of this. That might actually be a good thing to plan out. But yeah, the battle system looks amazing, and they look like they're giving like individuality to some people. Like I already know Red 13 has a whole different system that is based on blocking.
It's interesting that they're making characters defensive or offensive depending on who they are. I like that.
Yeah, and I like that, and I like having the team up attacks not cost ATB.
I also like that it's everybody has their own team up attacks. Then it's not just
the same
somebody
thing.
in Cloud or somebody in Barrett. Yeah. I like that everybody's going to have their own individual ones.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll leave it on, Tom, unless you have any other thoughts. I like the change that happens if you watch anybody play this demo. That's at the bottom of the Junon town, like who you find down there. I like that change because it's an organic way to bring Yuffie into the party.
So I haven't watched it yet, but I imagine it's Yuffie instead of the little girl.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because people were going to freak out about that either way.
Yeah.
Because of the stupid mini game that you have to do there.
Yeah. I wonder if the mini game's still there, but apparently the dolphin is there because I've seen that in the
Mr. Dolphin. Awesome.
And you fight that boss. That was the end of the demo for people.
Okay.
Just fighting that boss. So I love that it answered the question I think me and you had on a podcast previously was how do you introduce Yuffie? Because the way she's introduced in the other games, you just randomly find her in the woods.
Right.
But she's not an established character.
You have to fight her, which I don't know. Did they show any of that? Did you have to fight her when you find her here?
No.
Or do you save her from that boss? Yeah,
she's just basically the girl.
Okay. That makes sense.
Not in the same help. Like I think maybe she tried to fight it herself.
Right.
Sort of thing. But yeah, so there. And of course, Matthew Mercer follows us everywhere. And Vincent shows up for a split second in this game.
I love it.
And my favorite thing, I forget who it was. I think it was MinMax I was watching because I watched everybody watch this trailer and break it down. Easy Allies and MinMax were probably the funniest. And then, of course, go to Maximilian Dude if you want the deep breakdown.
You just got to watch it for his reaction.
Yeah. And then just his deep breakdown of everything. But I think it's Janet Garcia on the MinMax one says to when Vincent shows up, she goes, "Is he a vampire or just a regular man?" And Ben Hansen goes, "Yes."
The answer you're looking for is yes.
And I had to rewind because I laughed through the rest of their little segment on it because it was such without spoiling anything, how do you answer the question? Yes. Oh, so good. I can't wait. I'm so glad that they're not hiding him behind DLC.
Well, they're hiding playing as him behind DLC.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we kind of knew that was going to happen. I feel like we kind of saw that coming anyway. So
they'll probably tell his story.
Yeah, I hope it's this is how Vincent came to be the way he is. I hope it's something like that.
Yeah, it'll be a Turks game essentially. What it should be.
I would love that. Well, there already is a Turks game. What the hell is the name of that game? Before Crisis?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about before. That's the BC. You have Advent Children, Before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge Cerberus, Ever Crisis.
Yeah. Before Crisis. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would be it.
But I'm talking about like you play as Vincent and the three Turks, the two, the three that we met, and just as a party of four in a 2 to 3 hour 2-chapter DLC. Would be fantastic.
I'd be totally fine with that.
And it allows you to expand Rude, if you want to his love of Tifa, if you want to do that for some odd reason. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how they expand them throughout this game. But I'm so excited. We need to move on because we could talk about this for
we could be here.
Hour.
We could have a whole podcast just on this trailer. And I'm pretty sure they just released another trailer today at TGS, which I haven't seen yet.
I gotta go check it out.
I just got home like not that long ago, so I need to go. I need to go deep dive into that and then watch Maximilian Dude geek out about it.
Watching all those people were great. But yeah, go. My suggestion for anybody out there who hasn't, for some reason, not seen this yet, is I would watch the trailer on your own first, and then go watch, Easy Allies, Maximilian Dude, and Min Max, and because they're 3 different reactions, all positive, but just the way this game is like taking over people is great.
And just for reference, I've already pre-ordered the deluxe edition.
Yes, I pre-ordered the regular edition because I didn't see anything in the deluxe edition that I needed.
Well, it's my favorite game of all time. I'm gonna get the deluxe edition.
I kept hitting refresh on collector's edition Tears of the Kingdom, so you don't need to make excuses to me, Tom, for 3 months to get that. By the way, I pre-ordered the Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom amiibo that's coming out in November as well. Not even really playing the game anymore. Just going to make it part of my Zelda collection.
I really need to get back into that, but that's another tangent.
Yeah, I'm on the final boss, so I'm going to finish it at some point. But speaking of Final Fantasy, leads us right in this show of transitions to our Retro Roulette game. Final Fantasy 3, the original, not 6, for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Japan 3.
Tom, you can go over briefly your thoughts. I know you had some trouble on stream, but just give your thoughts overall, and if you want to explain to the people what happened.
So, since this game was not released in North America, I was trying to use a translation patch to play through the NES version on stream. It did not go well. First of all, the game is freaking hard.
Yes.
Any version you play is difficult. But it's one of the original NES ones. So you go through, you name your 4 characters. You only get 4. And it's kind of to get the information of what's happening was kind of weird. I kind of get the gist of what was happening. You were picked as, your 4 people are going to save the world. You're going to reignite the crystal or whatever, because crystals are what Final Fantasy was all about at that point. Still is, obviously, if you've played 16, it's still there. But what happened to me was I got to a point where I was at a town and I realized that all of the characters looked like ghosts, and I was like, something's wrong here. I don't know what's going on, but nothing. All these character sprites are broken. Little did I know, that is actually a plot point in the game, is that everybody's a ghost. Because I ended up playing the 3DS version, which I have, and then I figured out that I had the PSP version downloaded on a Vita that was thrown away, not thrown away, but like thrown in a bucket that I didn't know where. I thought I had a physical version of the the PSP version, but I didn't. I had it downloaded on a Vita, which I hadn't touched in quite some time. And I played the Vita version and the 3DS version up to about the same point. And I would recommend the PSP version to anybody who's actually trying to play it over the NES or the 3DS version.
Agreed.
I really like. I'll talk about the PSP version. I really like the characters that they give you, because in the NES version, there's no backstory or no information about the characters. You just name them. You're the characters. You go on a quest.
Yeah.
In the remakes, they give you a lot more information, a lot more character development. And if you've ever played an old Final Fantasy or an old Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, this plays very similarly. There's not a whole lot different. The only thing that's really different is that the job system is very stringent. You pick a job, that's your job. That's it. There's no changing it. There's no doing anything else.
Yeah.
Your character has a job. That's their job for the whole game, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you play. Me, personally, I probably would be fine with that because I don't really change jobs too often for different characters. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty good game. It's definitely got its downsides, but if you like an old school RPG that's hard, this is a game for you.
Yeah, and just piggybacking off Tom's point, I played the Pixel Remaster, and I agree. Do not try and figure out a way to play the NES version. It's not worth it at all. Pixel Remasters are great. The fun thing about this for Final Fantasy III is that it was the first time in the series where the creators, did the thing where we don't like how the last game went, so we're going back to the first game ideas.
Yep.
Because if I remember Final Fantasy II, from what I've heard about it, haven't played it, that was basically like essentially how 6, 7, and 8 are in terms of story, like dark, deep story more than, worrying about, Final Fantasy-ish stuff, which back then was like crystals, as you mentioned, and having 4 warriors and all that stuff.
Or Warriors of Light.
Warriors Light and, all that stuff was only in 1 and 3. 2 was a little bit different and didn't sell as well, so they went back to 3. There's this whole chart that someone made that you can basically have like a family tree sort of thing for the first 9 Final Fantasies, and where they break from each other. Like 1 and 3 sort of go with 4 and 5 because of the job system, and then 2 goes with 6 through 9 essentially, because those are the games that aren't necessarily job system games to the same extent as the other ones are. Again, people that are a little bit deeper in it might want to correct us on Twitter. But yeah, my playthrough of this is just very much reminds me of why I have a hard time with 1, especially, and 4 and 5. Playing through it, it's just as good of an idea as the job system is. The playing through it, I don't want to have to think that much about certain things. It's why the Zodiac Edition of 12 gives me a little bit of issues too, because you can do 2 different jobs there. You can a whole bunch of crazy stuff with that. But the game itself, at some point I'm going to have to beat it, because my goal with getting these Pixel Remasters is to beat 5 through 1, which would get me all the way up to 16 in terms of games I've beaten. Yeah, this one's going to be a struggle as I play just a little bit of this. I know one I'm definitely just going to play with a guide, like just straight through. Like I'm just going to whatever the best min-max way of doing it, just to get it through and put it on my plate, because there's such a minimal story to it that it's just getting it on my resume there. But 3 is very much I think the last game before they fine-tuned it to where it gets to be the Final Fantasy that we all know and love.
Yeah,
4
I've heard
forward is great.
I've heard that 4 is a lot of people's favorite.
Yeah. If 4 is your favorite, if you like the battle systems and stuff like that, and and 6 and like a little bit of the later ones tend to be if you love story. I think it's how I heard someone break it down. Like 4 is the best mechanics of any of them.
That makes sense.
And, so it really depends on the type of Final Fantasy you want to play. But yeah, my thought just going through 3 a little bit here is I'm not looking forward to it whenever I get to it. But it's always interesting to see where these where these series have come from. And you can, when going back with the knowledge of knowing where they went, you can see the seeds of some of these games, like the good nuggets from them being taken and put into other games. And it's always a great way to follow the stretch of the life of a franchise. But yeah, do you have anything else?
Not really. I mean, it was an enjoyable game. The characters are interesting. Like I said, with such a stringent job system, I think I would enjoy it. But I feel as though I should look up what the best way to go about it is, because I would be pissed if I picked the wrong job all the way at the beginning and it made my life hell going through the game.
Yeah. I do feel like that we would be on one side of that argument in terms of Final Fantasy games. In terms of, if the mechanics are really good on your end, you love it. All I need is a good story.
Yeah. I mean, I like a good story too, but if a game does not play,
that's what I mean.
Way for me, yeah, exactly. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if a game doesn't play well for me, I'm gonna be turned off on it. Very quickly. But I would not be okay with a crap story either.
Yeah. What I meant was like I can excuse a bad mechanics if I really like the story.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's okay. Neither one is good or bad. It's just a preference. But listen to you talk and the way I talked about it was kind of like, I can see this. But yeah, so yeah, if you're a masochist and want to try and find the NES version, or if you know Japanese, feel free. But I recommend the Pixel remasters are probably your best bet to find now the easiest way.
Yeah, or if you're into emulation, I would recommend PPSSPP and playing the PSP version.
Yeah. It really goes PSP version, probably best version. But the most convenient way is just grab the Pixel remasters, and get you 5 other games you might love that probably are better, or at least half of them are. So score time, Tom. I'll let you go.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
just because I hate the fact that you can make a mistake in the beginning that kills the game for you. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go slightly below you, and probably because I didn't play as much as you did. So I didn't really get deep in to see the story grabbed me. So I'm 3 out of 5. Probably would be in the bottom third of Final Fantasies for me from what I played so far. But yeah, still worth checking out, because I'm a completionist in terms of at least seeing every version of series, which is why in both ends I've played Lightning Returns and Spirit Tracks on Zelda's side.
One of these days I'll play Lightning Returns.
If you can't love me at your worst, you can't have me at my best. That's how I feel about those two series. But anyway, let us know your thoughts. Follow us on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, as all my emails from it say.
Jesus Christ, it's Twitter. I'm never calling it X, ever.
I believe we are on Blue Sky, if you had been let through the pearly gates into that thing. And we may be on Threads, I'm not sure.
We're definitely on Threads.
We're on Threads. 100%. So wherever you go to escape that hellscape that is Twitter, we are there for you. So feel free to let us know your opinions on Final Fantasy III on there. But Tom, we need to find out what we're playing next on Monday. Let's spin that wheel. Tom, so we went from one of your favorite series to another. Mm-hmm. And just as I was talking about games that are sort of controversial in the series, we have one this week for another long-going series. Tom, what game are we playing?
we are playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and I will be playing the PS4 version.
Nice, yeah. So join us on Monday. Tom will be playing. I will be commentating with him. Just for the sheer fact that for a game like this, somebody with experience should probably own the sticks. So after what happened with Kingdom Hearts 2, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of the beginning area
Now,
on my own.
Mark, for reference, I have never played this game, so this is going to be a blind playthrough of Birth by Sleep for me. So it should be interesting.
You have much more experience.
Yes, I've played every other Kingdom Hearts pretty much, but I've not played Birth by Sleep. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah. So join us on Monday for that. Tuesday, maybe roll over Volcano High if I don't finish it on Sunday, the day before this airs. And then we should get a schedule together for other games going forward now that hopefully my computer is good. And the other big announcement, which we will pop out on Twitter on Monday when this airs, the dates for Extra Life this year. And yes, I said dates. We're going to do 2 12-hour streams, not 1 24, because again, we're getting old. And plus, we want to give you the best quality we can over the marathon rather than the whatever happens at 3 a.m, 4 a.m. It's not that fun anymore at our age for you or us. So the first night will be November 11th. We will honor the veterans by playing video games for 12 hours that night. And then on the 18th, we will follow up with another 12. Definitely one of these nights will be Jackbox will be involved. And then we may or may not do a D&D thing. May just be straight video games since we're doing 12 hours and don't have to eat up 3 hours with D&D. But we'll keep you posted. If you guys really want D&D, let us know. But yeah, so be on the lookout. We should have the website up by next episode. I'd like to get it out like right before New York Comic Con. So look forward to that. And so it's probably, we'll get the times correct. It'll either be 9 to 9, 12 to 12, something like that. So adjust accordingly to your time zone because those are all Eastern Standard Times. So all right, Tom, we're going to be playing some Kingdom Hearts in a couple hours. So I am excited.
Me too. I'm pumped.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining me on Sunday if you did. I want to get that out early. I know Vince and a couple other listeners do pop in for all those. So I thank you ahead of time here from the past there. But we will be back in 2 weeks with our pre-New York Comic Con show. It's pre because it's a week later than usual this week. So be on the lookout for that. And then keep an eye on our Twitter or Blue Sky or Threads for our stream schedule for the week. So for Tom, I'm Mark, and we'll see you next time. Bye!